Well, you've started talking to a woman and she claims that she likes to speak to you and she finds you so interesting and she's giggling over the phone and all that wonderful stuff. And so you pop the question, you say, "Are you interested in me?" And she says, "I'm not, but I would love to be friends." And you look at her and you go, "Well, I kind of don't want that." So I had a person I used to talk to and they said that men who are turned down are basically, once they know for sure this woman's not interested in them, they're the equivalent of filler in an anime. Now, for those 10 people who I'm talking about, in animes, there's supposed to be adaptations of mangas. Material that's not from the manga, the book, the original, the source material is considered filler. It's stuff that's put in there to pad it out in order for the source material to get further into its run. Um, I had explained to this person that I thought that was really funny, but that it was also really disturbing because I can say that when I think about a lot of the interactions I've had with chicks that I had an attraction to, it just retroactively feels like it was a big waste of time, like filler. And, I took it seriously. I saw it as something that was as important as the source material, but they didn't. And I kept trying to explain that, one of the reasons I don't really try to make friends with people is because it always feels like they're going out of their way to have you act in a way that is satisfiable to their interest and then at the same time deny what you want. So the example I can give here is that there was a woman who I had spoken to that was from another country. It's one of the developed ones, so you already can tell that it's not the U.S. Well, when I say other country, I'm talking about some other country outside of America. And I had started to save up funds to go see her because she had said, "I'm interested," all that wonderful stuff. And it was a really, just to her credit, she was a person that was into, if she kind of reminded me of my best friend in the sense that even when he's not into something, you can still talk to him about it so you don't have to feel like, your hands are metaphorically tied when you talk to this person. And it really drove me crazy when she recanted being interested or wanting a romance or whatever the hell, and still tried to speak to me after that. And I tried to put up with it for a few weeks. I just couldn't do it. And in the midst of it, I had another person who I no longer speak to who said, she is trying to get out of your interaction with her all of what she wants, which is this platonic interaction where she gets to call somebody and be amused and have some sometimes serious conversation while denying you what you want, which is a romance. And even though that might seem very clear to me or someone who's looking at this from hindsight, when you're experiencing it, it's hard to like just sit back and go, here's this person that you thought was basically perfect. Just in terms of their personality, their what stuff they were saying, a lot of what you got out of interacting with them over, and they have taken this seeming perfection of what could possibly be the promise of a good interaction and pretty much balled it up and thrown it in the trash. Uh, and it was really aggravating having to just say this is not going to go anywhere. I'm done. Sayonara. But I was able to cut it off because I realized that the main thing I wanted was going to continuously be denied from me. She tried to be slick and go, "Oh, well, maybe if you speak to me for another week or another 2 weeks, I might change my mind." I'm like, no one is stupid. I'm not. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not dumb. So if I have a person who is literally spending every single day or week trying to convince me that if I just wait out till next week, next month, something might magically shift, even though it hasn't after 2 or 3 months, which is how long that was. Then go to hell. And you can say the same thing about the lady lacking logic. Now, that's a really the thing about that interaction. The reason why it pisses me off so much is because the entire time you talk to this person, they try to paint themselves as this understanding individual who gets you and wants to, be friendly and is so concerned with how you feel and blah 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 blah. And I'm telling you, it's like a just people always like to get mad and claim that I say that all chicks are the same. I say that there's difference in terms of their personalities, ways they look, but if they continuously do the same thing to their male counterpart, i.e., myself and other people, then we're not really going to care much about their differences because they're doing the same thing. But this is a person I speak to for 11 months, and I do that because it does not. It starts off platonic, and she pretty much does the same thing that other people do, where she tries to gas you up, say, "Oh, I like speaking to you. You're so funny." They're laughing over the phone. They're claiming you're so insightful. You know all this stuff they've never heard of before. And the entire time I'm hearing this, I'm just thinking to myself, what more can you really want? I mean, every single chick I've spoken to that I thought was physically attractive, had a personality that I liked, I've asked out. With the only exception ever was and this person is actually really, I don't talk about them that much because they're not relevant to what I do, but in the entire post middle school period, I've had one chick that I thought was just like really attractive and nice personality with her, but I never approached because from the time we spoke to the time we stopped speaking, she was with someone. I don't like to try to do that triangle trash because it usually doesn't go out the way you want. Um, and it hurt. That interaction is very significant, at least to me anyway, because it's the only time we're talking about over the span of the last 8 years where I've spoken to a chick that was about or the same age as me that I didn't try to like do any romantic stuff with. Like I was very respectful to the fact that they were with someone, uh, and I was kind of disappointed when it ended. But it ended because they stopped logging into their account on this website, and that was that. But again, any chick that I think is single, or that I have some belief is single, that I find physically attractive and I like the personality of, I approach or I've asked out in the past. Um, among those I talk to, so that's why I haven't approached any for the last year. Um, but I realized when I was thinking about what could this lady lacking logic want, because she's sitting over gassing you up about your nice personality and all you're so smart and all this other trash. I realized, oh wait a second, she never once complimented me on the way I looked. She never said anything bad about my appearance, but also never say anything good. So I can reasonably deduce that she probably was never physically attracted to me, and that was what the main thing that she was holding out for. Which, if it's true, and I have no reason not to see. The thing about a lot of people is that when they let their hair down, which is what she did multiple times, and when I say that I mean they let you in on stuff that they consider personal and whatnot. Oftentimes they show the slightest of their true emotions about something. So I don't dismiss that she thought I was smart or, you know, amusing, but you know, as far as whether that makes you worthy enough to go out with that person, uh, it was basically, well, he's not fit. He's not, my cup of tea in terms of how he looks. So we can throw him away. And I can guarantee you that she would be very quick to deny that, would say, "Hey, it's not true." But I'm sorry, if things do not align in such a way, we can reasonably deduce based off that one position you omitted, which was your opinion on the way I looked. It was about looks. And look, I'm not trying to make myself sound as if I'm any better. I said appearance does matter. Um, I just get kind of pissed off when I have people who try to tell me that my standards are too high when I've had literally dozens of chicks that I found attractive enough to want to try to talk to and do something with that's long term. Uh, I mean, you don't get the level of just. I mean, we talk about the Twilight Zone. That is completely the reverse of what is reality. When you tell me, well, maybe it's because your standards are too high, when I'm literally sitting here accepting and being fine with and content with the physical appearances of dozens and dozens of broads. Um, but listen, so it was very clear that she wanted to have some platonic interaction. I said, this is not going to work because I kind of, when, how I put this? When a chick that I truly believe has some kind of interest in speaking to me based off of, you know, my personality, declines to take it to the next step or next level or whatever, I think of it like this. If whoever they were with or whoever they think they're going to end up with was so great, they wouldn't need to speak to me. Because if I was with a woman, I wouldn't need to talk to other chicks. Does is now it has nothing to do with jealousy. It just means that that's almost like a silent confirmation to me that the person they're with, they basically said, "Hey, looks matter the most. As far as personality and all the other stuff, we can throw that away because I like to get screwed by them, so it's all good." I actually recalled a story, not story, an anecdote where I was on Reddit and there was a chick who put up a thing trying to get some guys to talk to her, and literally about 2 weeks after she had sent me some very, let's just say, perverse messages. I mean, guys, if someone's talking about bending you over and all that, you can kind of deduce that it's meant to be sexual. And I had no problem with it because I saw her picture; she looked fine to me. And this goes on for about a week, and then 2 weeks later, all of a sudden it just stops. I'm like, what the hell happened? And this is where people who are always trying to criticize me over everything I do would say, "Oh, well, see, you said something when you were talking to her that made her uninterested." And so she sends me some Skype information, tries to get me to talk to her on there, and I'm like, what happened to our, I guess, foreplay? I enjoyed that. What's the deal? And she's like, "Oh, well, I met this guy in real life that I find that I like, and I'm dating, and this is who I intend to be with for the time being or possibly longer." And I'm like, "Oh, so thank you for confirming to me that the last 20 plus days were a waste of time." And she, tries to like call me out of my name after that. But I'm like, guys, if this guy that she was with was so great, why would she have wanted to continue to talk to me? And also, do you get what I'm talking about? Where you pour energy into these people and you try to invest some amount of effort, not even just time, effort into appealing to them in different ways, and it's like they go and do something like that. They cast you as sure they want to like keep you for their little entertainment monkey, but as far as actually being a serious contender to get with them, screw you. And I said I'm no one's third rate backseat romance person. So if I cannot be someone's date after talking to them for some prolonged period and they want to talk about being friends, I'll delete that message and get rid of them as quickly as I can. I don't settle for less when it comes to this that which is exactly what I think the friend zone thing is. It's settling for less. Oh, maybe if I talk to her while she's dating eight other people, we can possibly in 2050 start like, man, no, just look at the writing on the wall. And I'm gonna try to see if I can close this out with this. The last time I spoke to the one of the first times I approached a chick, uh, and had like that actually like this is the one type of mentality, got turned down because, and she said it was because she was with someone. She's with this person for a couple more months, maybe a year, and then literally in that period, I'm like, oh my God, it's over. I can finally, she's gonna send me a message. Gets with somebody else. What does that tell you? It never mattered whether she was with someone or not. She was always going to treat me like trash. Like I wasn't good enough for her. I'm not of the higher quality that she is looking for, which again is all determined by looks. Because I've seen these people. They're not exactly the sharpest tools in the shed. I guess some of them are kind of funny, but again, like there's there's dozens and dozens of comedians. We're not. I'm not even gonna try to pretend I have that singular trait locked down and pat, and you can't get this anywhere else. But it's very obvious that this person had no interest in actually making good on, like following up with the reason that they inferred from when they said no. They inferred that, if they weren't with someone, they would have said yes. Then they're not with someone. They stick a middle finger in your face and get with someone else. That's actually not even friend zone because I wasn't talking to that person at that point. But you get the picture that it's the same kind of thing of yeah, this other person is here, and then maybe possibly if they weren't, something could happen, and then the person's not there, and it's confirmed that nothing would have happened. God, it's just like I said. If you talk the next time, and this is just my recommendation, no one has to take it. I take my own advice. The next time you have some chick that you talk to for a long time or for some continuous period, say, hey, I'm really liking who you are, but I'm not interested in dating you. Delete their number, block them on social media, and go find someone else. Because when they write that, they want to. It's like a it's like you're a fish in a pond, and you know how people put the bait out. It's bait. They want you to grab onto the lure, thinking that, oh my God, I just might get this thing. You know, you chase after it. Yeah, I might be able to get her to like me after she breaks up with this guy eventually. And then you sit there and you waste another month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, year talking to her just for nothing to happen. And then people will have the gall to call you entitled. And I said, no, just as they're entitled to friend zone me, I am just as entitled to not speak to them at all. And I keep saying, I don't settle for second place. I'm not going to be some backup person in case your first rate individual decides to, play hide the salami with some other chick or pisses you off for whatever reason. And that goes back to my thing about stopping these masks because I truly hate having to pretend as if this stuff doesn't piss me off. It makes me very angry that I ask for these simple things, get married, have children, something I saw millions of people do both at the same time as I was growing up and we've known just throughout history. And it was like this benign request, like how could you ask these mentally incompetent female contemporaries of yours for something so simple? They can't even screw in a light bulb, much less pick someone that they don't mess around with and try to friend zone every 2 seconds. So avoid them like the plague if they do that to you. Um, I say that because I don't want anybody else to waste their time talking to these people. They're not looking out for anyone but themselves, and they'll try to use you for entertainment while they pursue someone else, with the hope that you'll get your turn and you'll get your day in the limelight. It's not going to come.